Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
Yeah.
I say, Madam, what you have to offer? She say, I have everything right here. I don't buy whiskey, neither strong rum. It is against my religion. I have homemade wine in all description. Oh boy, you could sample anyone. I have citrus, hibiscus, dandy root, passion fruit, Timawi, strawberry, aloes, and cake.
I want some homemade wine, Madam Gloria. Give me the homemade wine.
It's nice.
I want some homemade wine,
Madam Gloria.
give me the homemade wine.
It's sweet. Ba-dum-bum, 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 ba-dum-bum. I eat black cake from Joan already, so right now I don't want no more. But all them local wine you present me, I got to taste some of them for sure. Oh madam, which one is your favorite? Bring it up quickly
of course, that is what we are committed to, making sure that we start your day right. And you're right here on New Era TT Radio. So let me say good morning to you. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to Tobago. Sure that we start. Yeah, good morning to our neighbors in the Caribbean, our friends who are streaming all around the globe on the www. Thank you so much for making your choice. I want to say much thanks as always to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. Everything that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing unto you. I am yours truly, Sir Charles. Happy am I to be in your company this wait now, midweek Wednesday morning already. Wow. It's good to be here with you nevertheless. Remember, this is your Get Up and Go. We welcome everybody to the breakfast show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Good morning to our listeners and viewers, wherever you are, and welcome to the breakfast show on this wonderful Wednesday morning, coming to you live out of Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, we know you have a choice in what you devote your time to on an early morning, wherever you are on the planet, even if it's afternoon or evening or night. We know you have a choice, and we're glad you chose us. And a special good morning to my co-host Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, Richard. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Look, Wendell trying to say it also. Go ahead, Wendell.
I don't know if you see this. You see that? That's called a pillow. I had two of those humping this morning.
Humping?
Well, yeah, you know, the camels have like two pillows on their back, so I had two pillows. That's why they call the camel a hump. You know, that's why they call it hump day.
I don't know how to break this to you, but that's not what human beings mean when they say humping.
Of course, that's what they mean, because of the humps on the camel back, the pillows.
And they say, oh, so people lie down with two pillows and say a humping?
Yeah.
No, that is only your definition.
So there's a Trinity definition.
There's a normal human definition.
A human definition.
Well, that's my idea of humping.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, good morning, Richard. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's an absolutely beautiful hump day in Trinidad and Tobago, as it is in other parts of the globe. And we are here. We're happy to be in the land of the living. Give thanks for those who are celebrating any special days today. And of course, those who would have lost loved ones, absolute condolences to them.
But you are celebrating a special day today, Wendell Stephen.
Kinda.
Today is Wendell's birthday, people.
It's a hump day.
Happy birthday, Wendell. Happy birthday, my friend.
Wait. Today's the actual day?
Yeah, today's his birthday.
It's always
the birthday, man.
October.
I wish you all the joy and happiness that a human can have. I wish you all of it. Be extra special today.
I was actually hoping you all didn't notice, because you know the chat is going to go wild. I was hoping you all didn't say anything.
No, hope we can do that. Yeah.
You celebrate people's birthday. It's your birthday.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I thought it was somewhere around the 20th, somewhere around the sun. I don't know why.
That's not unexpected, Sir.
For some reason, I thought it was down in the hole. But then again, then it'll be out of
Libra goes up to the 22nd, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know. So So yes, today also is the birthday of. It would have been the birthday of Gary Camejo,
Yes.
our departed colleague. He would have been celebrating his birthday today. Quite a few other people I know celebrate birthday today. Dennis Rampasad, the owner of Universal Pub on the Western Main Road in St. James, he is also celebrating his birthday today. This guy who I went to school with, he was a Coast Guard officer. Anderson Cummins. Is that his name? Andy Cummins. Yes, that's his name. Yes, he is celebrating his birthday too. So happy birthday to any other people who are celebrating birthdays today. Have an absolutely fantastic day. My phone. I'm going to have to switch off my phone. I promised to do that at midnight, but I didn't because of where I am, and it's going crazy now. Right?
Yeah. So happy birthday, Wendell.
Yeah. This new way of people's name coming up though. How did that happen? How is it a YouTube thing?
I don't know if YouTube changed the algorithm. I don't know if it's something in the settings in StreamYard that Sir Charles touched.
No, I did not go into any set, and there is no settings I have seen for the for messages and how it comes in and that stuff. I mean, I experiment with the chat these days, but I ain't reached that far.
But I think it's people's email address or like the super.
Yes, the email address coming up, which is and it's coming up with a number. I don't know if because not everybody number. Well, yeah, everybody has a different number. I don't know if people actually put that number to the email address. Did they?
No, well, I don't know. Maybe.
I doubt it. I doubt it very much.
But now your actual name coming up because some people were chatting on the pseudonyms, eh?
Yeah.
And now the name is actually coming up. Anyway, let's do our good news now, please, Richard. I have a rant to do today, so.
All right, I will. Let's do good news before you get into your rant.
In Trinidad and Tobago, where we set up a vertical farm featuring 140 aeroponic towers. Located in the Caribbean, we came here to work hand in hand with our partners to install this aeroponic farm and train their team to operate it efficiently. This farm will primarily be growing lettuce and aromatic herbs. We started by arranging the layout of the farm, followed by connecting the float valves and configuring the submersible pumps. Then came the installation of the irrigation lines and the assembly of the towers, stacking the growing sections to the desired height. Once the towers were ready, we mixed the nutrients and connected the automated irrigation system to a centralized gravity tank, which continuously feeds the towers with nutrient-enriched water regulated by float valves, providing all the essential minerals and trace elements that plants need to thrive. After the installation, we trained the team on the best seedling practices and transplanted the seedlings onto the towers, which include basil, lettuce, thyme, mint, and edible flowers such as marigolds and celosia. And in a matter of a couple days, this team is now fully qualified to run this vertical farm.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'd seen it on Facebook, and then Zina had also sent it to me.
I got that from someone also. Can't remember who.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
We played it on Monday.
we did.
Richard wasn't here.
No, I
Yeah.
wasn't.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. Get 2 for 1 this week.
Yeah.
Is that kind of
Yeah.
week? 2 humps.
Damn
You get?
blade. With dumb.
Two humps.
You get it? Yeah.
Yeah, get second hump. A hump from Sir Charles and a hump from Richard. You can't ask for more than that.
We were trying. We were asking, who if we were trying to get more information as to who's responsible for it, and I hope that somebody will get in contact with us who's actually associated with it, because it's a very interesting setup. I like it.
Well, there's no animal with 3 humps, so you won't get a hump from Wendell. You got one from Sir Charles, you got one from Richard. Right? Or you go in. Anyway, in the chat, let's greet some people. As I said, all the names have changed up in the chat. It's people's, I think, actual email address, I suspect. Valerie Mendoza says good morning to the breakfast team. Suzanne Jessup also says good morning. Eunice Dublin, Brennan Smith, Margaret Thomas, Felix Kazo says good morning. Also, Boy Bidesi. Boy Bidesi, what is T5P? Is that your actual email address? Is this your actual email address? How they put it? Maybe it is. Some tough ones though. Ava Smith, D1R, Trini Merle Kitchen. Is that Trini Merle Kitchen? Yes, it is. From Oshawa, Ontario. What was she all the time? Not Trinidad, Trini Margot. Michael Cadet also says good morning. Ozzy Molino, Melchizedek, Brent Hackshaw, Ambrose Blah from New York. Marcia Rock also says good morning. She's out there in Orlando, Florida. Diane Payne, Doreen Peer from Gastonia, North Carolina. Manuela Peters, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr says good morning. Super Valdez, that's not a name we know, but it might be somebody who was chatting already. Ian Stewart, Gavin Frank, Lambert Bruce, Stephen Harper 2089. Stephen, you get exposed. Andre 868, Rena Jennings, Hump Day, and good morning all. Marlon Motley says good morning to the breakfast.
Morning, Marlon.
Odell Guy from Sangre Grande, Richard Jeremiah, Bernadette and Nelicia Yates, Julia Samantha, Trinidad Margot is somebody else then. I thought it was Trini Merle Kitchen. Carol Guevara, D4M, Mowing 555, that's Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. So you see, her name has definitely changed to M Mowing 555. Margaret Chow, good morning to the breakfast show. Katian Charles from Cascade also saying a special good morning to Arlene in Bronxville. Katian, your birthday is tomorrow, isn't it? I think it is. Yes, I'm sure it is. Katian Charles says happy birthday, and here we go, the birthday things now. Good morning from Diana Hamill. Mrs. R is laughing. Wayne Ramsey says good morning, guys, and good morning all from Mrs. R. I don't know what the true is. Sandrina Bagan Charles says good morning. Julia Samantha, happy birthday, Wendell, and all the birthday greetings start coming in now from Marlon, Stephen Harper, Diana Hamill, Jillian John, Mrs. R, Brent Hackshaw, Gavin Frank, Doreen Pierre, Claire Lendo Rollins, Alistair Hart says good morning. Boy B. Dacey also says good morning and happy birthday. Melchizedek, DWWTF1. Who is that? That's David Wares. I'm seeing the picture and I know it's David Wares. Happy birthday to you, Wendell. Enjoy it to the maximum. Lyndon LB9DN. I don't know who that is. Trinidad Margot. Sherwin Kerr says happy birthday. Joyce Phillip, Manuela Peters, Alistair Hart, Ava Smith, Spivey. And all these are birthday greetings. I won't go through all of them. Sankofa said bountiful birthday graces. All right. All these are birthday greetings. Josie Richardson says good morning. Natalie Hoyt also says good morning. Jennifer 5D5X. Florence Bartley says good morning. Who else is new? Wendy and James. Some looking for new names, people, because Donna Ramlo says good morning. I don't want to just repeat all these birthday greetings, and I thank you all for sending birthday greetings to me, right? David McCarthy, Helen Prescott, Apollinaus, Rena Jennings, Shirma Paul, Anthony Atwell, Pearl Cordis, Pearl and Stacey and Cordis also say good morning. James Kamau, Trini 2BK from Nashville, Tennessee. That was a different name before. Can't remember what the person from Nashville, Tennessee was, but it's now a Trini 2BK. GHXT. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but I can't call out all, right, people?
Yeah.
it's a bit
I,
dark.
my sister sent me something, Wendell,
Mm-hmm.
concerning it.
Mm-hmm.
And what she's saying is that handles versus names. Your channel name is what viewers see when the handle is a unique identifier that starts with um, the at symbol.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube has been automatically assigning handles, and if you didn't have one before, it may have created one for you based on your existing information. Your
Okay.
Google account. Changes to your Google account name can sometimes affect your YouTube display name. So it's worth checking there as well. How to change your YouTube channel name and handle. Tap your profile picture in the YouTube app and select View Channel. Tap Edit, and on the Edit Name, Edit Channel button. To change your name, go to the name field and enter your updated channel name and then tap Save. To change your handle, find the handle section and tap Edit, and you can then type in a new handle and accept the suggested one. Tap Save to confirm your changes. So it is
Okay.
something that has changed.
That YouTube is doing, because not everybody has a number. For instance,
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis Jr. doesn't have a number. So yeah, so Boy B. Daisy says, I myself want to know what is this number about. Well, we just heard it.
I think you can change it back to your name if you go into the settings of your YouTube.
Right.
You click your stuff.
Right. So Super Valdez, that used to be Robert Taylor from Fernandina Beach. He is now Super Valdez. All right. And
I think some people have worked it out already, because some people are seeing their actual names.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Galen and the ultimate DJ Shane also says good morning. Ava Smith, Guy Small, who is really far away. Happy birthday, Wendell. Enjoy a special day. Brent Hackshaw, Ebony, Richard J. All these are birthday greetings again. Estelita Sampson, good morning, guys. RASMHB, don't know who that is. So maybe y'all can follow Richard's sister's advice and go in and change back your name to what it originally was, unless you're comfortable with what it is here now, right? It is a little complicated reading it sometimes, but I'll try my best on a morning to get everybody greeted, okay? Mo Gaines also says good morning, and Lester Cragwell. All right, so those are the greetings on the chat.
Confusing.
It is,
YouTube and them trying to make things easier for themselves and making it difficult for everybody else. That is progress. Let me say good morning to Kent out there in Lavendale. Kent was on the chat very early. Suzanne, good morning to you. Archbishop Ashton Clark, good day. Fifi in Ethiopia, good morning. Captain Ron in Orlando. Mr. Billy and the Powder Magazine people, good morning. Mr. Billy, the funeral for Bernard Julian gone already. Shamin in CJ out there in New York, good morning. And Shima, that's the new one coming in. Judith Monk St. George, Zena in Arima, Horatio in Arima, Mr. Beeps in Pity Valley, Slick Money Grip, Rockaway, and Debbie in Mova, who Debbie is also celebrating her birthday next week. All right, that's our winner, Wendell.
Okay, very modest.
Our wine winner, and a lot of these people here, most of them would have been also sending happy birthday greetings to you. So all who you didn't want to know, everybody know today's your birthday. Everybody. So enjoy your birthday. Have a fantastic one. Don't get drunk.
No, I tried something called a Henny Colada yesterday.
Well, if you feel to get drunk, get drunk. What happens to child?
I don't ever get drunk though.
It's your birthday, baby. If you feel to get drunk.
Yeah, I do get drunk. It's kind of hard for me to get drunk. I might get a little tipsy. I don't get drunk.
People who say that usually are people who get very drunk, right?
No. I'm too miserable to get
drunk. I don't get drunk. I got it.
Laverne Edwards, good morning to you, and also to Terry and Peters just coming in on the chat.
Yeah. K. George is also Kenny in Harlem. He said that there. Lou You and your funny name, Luan spelled backwards. That's my good friend from American Airlines. Morning, Luan. Luan Muking is her name, in case you didn't know.
Mooking.
Yes, Luan Muking. So I'm gonna get so much fatigue today.
All right, well, we are going for a short break, and when we come back, of course, we'll get into our daily news papers headlines, and then Wendell can do his rant, and we can open up the lines.
Yeah,
Sounds like a plan.
sounds like a plan.
Pay $1 down on higher purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop. Located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires. Certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services. Oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
The public is demanding it, so the laughter continues. You don't leave out to watch Corn is now at Central Bank Auditorium for 2 nights only. Saturday, October 25th at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday, October 26th at 6:30 p.m. Don't miss the play that some say is the funniest of all time. Tickets available now online and at the usual outlets. And from Monday, October 20th, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily at the Central Bank box office. You don't leave out to watch Corn has been matching up audiences.
All right, so we are back, and of course, this is where we get into our headlines. Wendell, are you ready with the Express?
Yes, I am. I'm also recognizing Man Crab as Jaron Joseph on the chat. Morning, Jaron. And who else is there too? All right, that's it. I had it up and what did I do with it? I had the Express up and I went into something else. Hold on 2 seconds there. All right, today's Express, Wednesday, October 15th, OPM, that's Office of the Prime Minister, has 7 days to release Commission of Inquiry pay details. Why? I didn't even know that was an issue. Who got paid from the Commission of Inquiry into Paria? Was that an issue?
I don't know.
I didn't even know that. Talks were about crime, not politics. So says murder accused Raji Ali. Who did he speak with? Raji Ali spoke and said the talks were about crime, not politics. Well, what else could it have been about Raji?
Who he was talking with?
But let me pull up the article. Hold on. It says murder accused Raji Ali says the meeting between former senior superintendent, now Minister of Homeland Security, Alexander, and ACP Smith and himself at the maximum security prison on January 7th was about crime and gangs in prison. In a recorded virtual interview yesterday with one of his lawyers, which was obtained by the newspaper, Ali said the meeting had been misconstrued in the past. Ali's wife, Stacy, confirmed the voice on the recording was his. I never knew one day Alexander would be a minister because I hear they say that he come to me for votes. That is not true. Well, we know that because he wasn't touted as election wasn't even called yet. I would not lie against nobody, just so you know. But when I see he became a minister, I was happy because we would get some change in here. Okay. Sharing information with one of his attorneys about the January meeting, Ali stated it was more about the crime situation. And I talked to them about the situation in jail and how men are being charged for phones and don't have the proper facilities for men to communicate with their families. We talk about the gang thing in prison. More or less, I was giving them advice from my point of view from being on the streets and the mistakes I think the police service was making approaching and dealing with crime. Mr. Ali, anyway. And I was asking them to, one of the main things I was asking them was to come and see, visit the other men in Building 13, which was like Bissoon, Robert Paul, me, to hear what men have to say, to hear their views, instead of painting these men as monsters. Let me know read no more. Or you go and read the article, yes? That article give me a headache already. I don't start to get a headache already. I have fool written all over me.
Yeah. It's not strange article to come out.
Yeah. We all have fools written all over us.
But anyway.
Anyway, some of the other stories trending in the Express: end of the line for CPEP and URP. Another exploding cooking gas tank leaves man in critical condition. That's a frightening story there with gas. I don't like gas tank at all.
And that happening too regular now.
Ramco needs to do something about it. Car tumbles off San Fernando Hill, rescue operation underway.
I blame Ramco. It have other people who do gas tanks too, you know.
Who else?
Yeah, it have another distributor, not only Ramco. And then people also get gas tanks from NP themselves.
I think they were specific.
Yeah, NP also, yeah.
Okay.
Or you call it Ramco name, so?
No, I'm just saying, but I only know Ramco gas tank. I don't know any other gas tank.
No, but NP is the one who's got gas tanks from, and sometimes you get it from them.
But whoever it is, they need to let the public know what is going on. Yeah.
If you go into the article, I think it was specific. I think it was specific though, eh?
They said Ramco.
Yeah. PM's office ordered to reveal who was paid in the Paria inquiry, and Caribbean Airlines latest audit shows massive losses. Those are some of the trending stories in today's Express.
All right, well, I'll go to the Newsday. And the Newsday, a U.S. strike kills 6 more off Venezuelan coast. PSA had ICE 10% wage settlement by Christmas. Good, well. Tanku, take back your power. Public can stand up against bank fee increases. Oh.
God, placard the back.
Could you give us a manual, please?
I would love to see how that will work.
Ernst & Young, PwC support, NIS retirement age increase. So apparently they have a report on the stuff. And R&B artist D'Angelo dies after cancer battle.
Hey boy, D'Angelo boy.
Yeah. So that's some of these trending stories in the Newsday today. Over to you and the Guardians here, Charles.
All right. I'm playing up with these controls here this morning. All right,
so right, you know.
So mom daughter survives.
Richard.
Mom daughter survives.
Exit, you know, when there.
Because somebody will take a picture and see 2 of us.
Hey. So in the Guardian, right? Mom daughter survives plunge over Sando Hill. Drinkers to feel pinch as bar owners to pass on increase in alcohol prices. Not surprising there. Whitco appeals for level playing field after Tanku's tax hike. budget hangover. Police public back tougher fines for reckless motorists. Consumers shouldn't bear the brunt of tax hikes, and drop in fuel price won't ease taxi fares, drivers say. Uh, all right, and that is some of the stories in.
Yeah, but obviously we're going to bear the brunt of the tax hikes. That's how businesses work.
Yeah.
That's a fundamental. That's the fundamental of business. How business prices its product. How businesses price their product, because whatever your overheads are is factored in to how you price. That's basic business strategy. These are my overheads. How do I distribute these overheads incorporated in the price of what I'm selling so that I can make a profit?
Yeah.
That's basic.
Yeah.
So obviously, unless they can absorb it because of whatever reason, but a lot of times businesses can't absorb it.
Yeah.
Sometimes some businesses are barely surviving.
Yes.
A lot of the times,
So they just pass it on.
Yeah.
Some
So
people
I don't know. I wonder if the finance minister is depending on the goodwill of people to absorb some of these increases.
That's not, you can't depend on businesses to do that, because businesses don't operate that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows that. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess some people maybe content to just break even, but even that is a dangerous thing, because you will have emergencies someday.
Yeah, businesses always want to make a profit. Sometimes you will have losses, but your intent is to make a profit.
Yes, yes.
So you price banks and insurance companies are very aware of that. But depending on how much those asset levies cost banks and insurance companies, your insurance is going to go up. Your car insurance is going to inch upwards next year. Your house insurance is going to inch upwards next year.
Everything.
And guess what? You have to pay car insurance because you have to have it on the road. And having house insurance is just, you just want the security of doing. You have house insurance. So
yeah, you don't have a choice.
You don't have
Sometimes
a choice.
with mortgages, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. So the cost of living, ultimately, when people look at a budget, you have to decide, when people say, oh, it was a good budget, oh, it was a great budget, oh, it was a mixed budget, everybody has an opinion, about, oh, yeah, oh, let's buy a wonderful budget. Some people say, no, I'm not so sure about the budget. Ultimately, the fundamentals of any budget and government policy in any given year boils down to one thing. Are you getting more value for your dollar? And the second thing is my life improved? And am I going to be happier with my life in this year coming? That's those are ultimately the barometers, no matter where you are in Trinidad and Tobago, whether you are very rich, whether you're middle income, whether you're low income. Those are the fundamentals. Am I getting more value for a dollar? That every dollar spent? And am I happy?
Yeah.
Is my life better in this year because of what these things that have been implemented by government policy? Ultimately, that's how people judge a budget.
Yeah. Dr. Fuad Khan had an interesting spin on it, though. Maybe we could get into that another day. But I also wanted to point out something. We did an interview here the other day. First time ever, we did an interview where we interviewed multiple people, right? We did the tutor rebirth, the tutor elections, the rebirth team, right?
Yeah.
Now, many years ago, I met this young lady. She a teacher at Naparima Girls College. I went there on some assignment. I can't even remember what it was, but it must have been more than 15 years ago. I met a teacher at Naparima Girls College. Her name is Miss Faraya Hayatali. And she has been an ardent fan of the breakfast show and our show since we switched channels. So she had reached out to me. I only met her that one time. I've never met her again since. But we communicate with one another on social media from time to time on through the radio chat. And she had reached out to me to ask me to interview a group of people from the tutor election, the rebirth team. And we did that. So for the first time ever, we had actually 5, well, besides the 3 of us, we had 5 other people on our screen that morning, right? If you remember, one of them dropped off just a little while after. But we had 5 other people on air with us. That has never happened before in our program or in the program that we succeeded, right? But she messaged me early this morning to said 4 of the 6 members of the tutor rebirth team won the election, including the president who we interviewed, Mr. Ash, Crystal Ash, right?
Right.
He won. The treasurer won, Mr. Harak Singh. The other guy who was doing most of the talking, well, he went up unopposed. The guy who had dropped out, Mr. Figaro, he won. You understand? And the lady who went up for 3rd vice president, she didn't win her position. But 4 out of the 6 members of that team won. And she was so thankful that she sent that greeting to me this morning and said, thanks for us entertaining. Why I'm saying all this is that Sir Charles would have come up with this idea of the breakfast show, right? And Richard and I agreed. We agreed because we like radio, because we like you all, because we like Sir Charles when you're ready. But we agreed to do it and at no cost to Sir Charles, right? He does not have to pay us. We're doing this for free. But prior to that, we used to do the breakfast show. For 20 years, I did the breakfast show. Richard did it for 25. Sir Charles was there for 26 years on Power 102. And for the life of me, when we went digital, which was a decision that we didn't agree with, that we would go digital when the COVID came in. However, the management at the time made a decision to go digital. We didn't agree, but we went digital. And we started to make a success out of the Power Breakfast. Because of our dedication and our talent and whatever we were doing, we started to make a success out of the breakfast show. And nothing pisses me off more than when I see what we are doing here, that could have been done on a program that was 20 plus years old. And you hear the fact that they couldn't do ads, we couldn't play music. What's Sir Charles doing every morning? Playing music. What are we doing here? Not showing ads? Huh? All of this nonsense we were told as to why the Power Breakfast show was failing. We were being blamed for failing the Power Breakfast show, when in fact, the management at the time is who failed that show and who wanted people to walk away. And today, Richard, Sir Charles, and I had to be struggling to get what is owed to us from Power 102. And it hurts me when I see what we have done with this show in such a short time. You understand? And doing ads for people. Thanks to people like Amjad Ali from Furniture Plus, Gary Ad from Shafler Auto, and all the other people who have been advertising with us to show that we could be doing it here and at very little cost. You understand? To bring the information, the education, and the current affairs to people in Trinidad and Tobago. And I especially want to thank Ms. Hayatali and for giving us that opportunity to show that what we could do and what Richard has been doing with the graphics and all these different things on a morning. Look at the talent. That Power 102 let loose, let go. Just throw it to the wayside. That hurt me. And that was one of the rants I promised to give all you. I gave all you today on my birthday. I had enough. Thank you very much, Sir Charles. Thank you very much, Richard Ragobar Singh. Thank you very much to each and everybody who has made this breakfast show the success that it is in such a short time. Thank you very much. I couldn't ask for a better birthday present than that. Thank you, guys. I'm done.
Okay, so of course, this is the point at which we open up our lines so people to weigh in. Of course, we will be speaking to Gavin Nicholas and Mariano Brown today. We're speaking to Gavin Nicholas first, and then go to Mariano Brown in terms of the budget and what's going on with the budget and what their views are on it. Of course, they probably have differing views. So we'll hear that in the next hour. So you can look forward to that conversation. And of course, this is where we open up the lines at this point. 2811315. I don't know if the other line is working. So Charles, is it?
Yeah, I tested it out last night and stuff, and waiting to see how it's working this morning. All right, but we have some people online, so let's go. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
Mr. Stevens.
Wendell will do.
No,
you
see that rant that I just give? I thought I had copyrighted my rant when I retired after 28 years at the relatively young age of 50 and so on. And I expect a pre-action protocol letter signed by your colleague, Mr. Raghu Basing, on my behalf for plagiarizing my rant. I'm hurt as a regular caller that you would go to such lengths to plagiarize my what I thought was my earnest work from my heart, and I'm traumatized. Mr. Raghuban Singh, I'll talk to you off the air after the show finishes, sir, so that we could discuss the appropriate fees for the letter that you would send on my behalf to Mr. Stevens.
Richard, expensive, let me tell you.
Well, I expect that because he did the work for a long time and well, so I expect to pay top dollar for good representation. Gentlemen, you know, why hear people, everybody touting the NIS increases and so on. And I am so shocked because I recall when Mr. Imbud was doing the consultations regarding increasing the NIS. The same Prime Minister's opposition leader and many of our MPs said that he wanted people to work until they was 90, and that is the next measure of failure by the then government, because all they could think about doing is taxing people out of existence. I recall that specifically, and I'm sure you gentlemen could recall that too. But now, everybody is saying that it's so wonderful and it's long overdue. I know what is happening when those consultations are going on. Some of the very same union leaders who are now muted and moused, who are along a similar vein, that why people have to wait till 65 to access their NIS and so on. And it is the very same reasons advanced on Monday by the finance minister that Mr. Imbud was speaking about them. Real 9-day, 1 day and truth. But what is intriguing to me is that we heard nothing about the exchange rate situation, where the Prime Minister had promised to deal with the dirty float and have a more, how to put it, realistic exchange rate. So I'll wait for that, because you know they say that the devil will, and the details come out during the debate, right? So I want to see how you're handling that. And I want to know whether that $73 and $4 pegging of the energy prices would redound to our benefit. I mean, I want the government to succeed, you know. But what I'm saying is, we all have to be realistic and watch the current environment in the world when it comes to these economic affairs. So I wait with bated breath and some trepidation as the months unfold. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you.
I'll contact you off here, sir. Take care.
Anyway, I wanted to, Wendell Penelope Spencer wanted to say a big happy birthday to you, and she sent you a big kiss. Mwah! That's what she said.
you. Thank you.
I'm giving it verbatim.
All right. Thank you very much, Penelope. My darling Mary.
Miss Mendoza, good day to you.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Hi.
Good morning. Happy birthday, Wendell.
Thank you, Miss Mendoza.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning. I'm afraid to say good morning, Richard, and I'm different to the others. But good morning, Wendell. Oh God, you're looking so good. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard.
Well, I say good morning based on the facial expressions, my man, Richard, at the time. I'm done with it. So you want to get any Polcock, right? So, I was reading where the Minister of Finance kind of want to blame businesses, you know, in case they raise the prices and pass it on to the consumers. But the point is, you are the one who made the budget. You put the price up. You live in Trinidad how many donkey years? We all know what goes on when the budget, something's changed in the budget. and who feels the brunt of the increases? Mr. Minister, it's the consumers. If you didn't know it, it's the consumers. And all governments do it. This is not the first time. So I don't know if you just crawled out from under a rock because you read it for the first time and you don't know what to expect. And he also said that we had to kind of keep an eye on the banks. If you raise certain things, any bank will increase things for us as well. So why should you come and talk them things to make it feel like it's not us, it's them, it's the business people and it's the banks. So telling us, in other words, shop around. Well, I don't know how much banks you gonna shop around, or does he want us to? How the word is when you withdraw money from the bank, I can't remember the word right now. Withdraw all the money from the bank or run it down to the government.
Run on the bank.
Just want us to do that. Run on the bank or something by withdrawing our money and putting it under the mattress. Is that he wants? So if you do certain things in a budget, everybody has to adjust to suit. It's up to the individual. Don't come and talk as if it's not us to blame. It's those people. Right, Mr. Minister? It's not the first time we live in here. It's not a 1 year old. The first time we're in our budget. So not everything is approved. So you all have a wonderful morning. And let's enjoy you today. Thank you.
All right. Okay. That I tell you, Dr. Fuad Khan has an interesting spin on some of the decisions that we take, man. Lord, I hope that's just conspiracy theory.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Wendell. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wendell. Happy birthday to you. Love Susan, Suzette, Miss Gemma. Richard, Sir Charles. Watch me, I just loving this program. It was a blessing. Wendell, what you say just now, I know with Power 102 FM. Watch me, like water under the bridge and go on this way. Right now, that was our blessings. This is what we wanted all the time. Always like a breath of fresh air. I don't know where you're bringing up Power 102 FM for. Forget about that. That one.
No.
This show that you all have. Bringing Trinidad and Tobago together, the whole Caribbean.
Until we get
love. Wendell, enjoy your birthday, darling. And my birthday coming up next week. Me and Twin birthday coming up next week, Thursday, God spare life. You understand? But Wendell, enjoy your day. As you all are. Same to you too, Wendell. Love you all.
Yeah. She is the 23rd.
No, is it? Yes.
It is next week, Thursday.
She's on the cusp.
She's on the 23rd.
And then she'll be on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio.
Yeah. And just to say, we are not, until we get our just due, we are not going to forget what happened to us. Okay? However long it takes. The rant is out of the way. Don't ask me to rant on it again. I have one more rant. That one is out of the way. Right?
Mr. Billy, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Richard and the special guy there, man. Mr. Wendell Stevens, happy birthday. Good health and strength, but Wendell is somebody I've known for the last maybe 40 years, before I joined the regiment. I know Mr. Wendell. And I mean, I always championed that he should have been a mayor of Port of Spain. He's a very nice person, a people's person, and someone who you could turn to for anything. Always had the heart of the community, right, of St. James, right, where he represents players on the local circuit. So I just want to take this opportunity in also saying also that Bernard Jr., the great Bernard Jr., and former all-rounder, 1975 winner of the World Cup, he will be put to rest on Saturday the 18th, right? The body will be taken to the Caranage, somewhere in Caranage, where it's hometown, and then to St. Finbert around 10 to 11. But I send the information to you for Charles.
Okay.
You can look at it and, and
definitely.
He made an indelible mark on the cricket and the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago, and in the village of Caranage. And I want to remind you all that he lived in Powder Magazine Phase 2 for 15 years. A matter of fact, I said it at things already. I was his Winball cricket captain in Powder Magazine Phase 2, and something I will be grateful for. And I tap on his resources
and that resulted in winning a lot of the leagues in the forward competition. So rest in peace, condolences to his family, and the community of Powder Magazine say, we greatly us to have you residing in our community. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Bye, guys. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks very much for the update, Mr. Billy.
You know
Because
what?
I was wondering.
You know what struck me? We didn't mention that the Curacao Trinidad and Tobago match last night.
We won?
We
1-1 draw.
1-1. So of course, I think we have to win our 2 matches and hope for other results.
Wow.
Well, the better people could compute what our chances are at this point.
Yeah.
I know we have 2 more home matches, I think, against Bermuda and Jamaica. So hopefully we can win those 2 matches, and I think that would probably give us a good chance if we could win those 2 matches. I mean, the plus is that it's going to be in Trinidad and Tobago, so people, of course, should pack the stadium for those 2 matches.
Home advantage.
Yeah.
So. Plenty magic, boy. Kola, good morning to you, Virginia.
Yeah, good morning, Virginia. Front and center. Quickly here. Good morning to you all, and especially to the birthday boy. And Mr. Billy, you want poor Mr. Wendell to be what? Mayor of where?
Now you'd have been the best mayor we ever had. You would have been the best mayor Port of Spain ever had.
The man loses here already. We loses mind now with these people in this country. Good boy, tell them now. Tell them. And besides that, the consultation fees that have to be paid to Richard to avoid any plagiarism and stuff and all that kind of thing. You be allowing you to vent here. Normally in America, you pay $500 lie on a couch and talk to somebody like Dr. Phil to vent. So I guess we getting a little piece of food too, huh? Anyway, look, just being facetious. Happy birthday, God bless. And by the way, that was a budget speech. I could have swear I was in a UNC rally. But anyway,
when UNC wins,
when the PNM and UNC leadership and the sycophants win, only the sycophants sing. That's what I say. Anyway,
see you on your rant.
Guys, happy birthday, Wendell.
You left the people never alone.
Our poll is up here, people. Do you expect a reduction in taxi fares due to the lowering of super gasoline? Everybody's celebrating this lowering of super gasoline. So do you expect a reduction in taxi fares? Because I guess most of the taxis on the road use super. Do you expect a reduction in the lowering of in taxi fares, all right? Due to the lowering of super gasoline. That's our poll this morning. We're going to speak with Gavin Nicholas and Mariano Brown after. They will kind of give us a better idea of all these different things that are in the budget that people are not aware of. And as I said, Dr. Fuad kind of has a video out that's very interesting in terms of a conspiracy theory. I thought it very interesting.
That he sees it.
Yeah.
All right. One more call as you go up to 7 o'clock. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. And Wendell, you enjoy your Earth Strong today. But let me tell you, you see what did Paul? Well, you will wait and see the cow jump over the moon first. So that, especially a super moon, we will see a cow jump over that. You know what I'm saying? Well, I just want to make on the lighter side of things. This budget, well, I've never seen so many memes that has me rolling with laughter, especially the one on the lowering of VAT on Moby and salt. Well, I never see jokes, so many people say they would know they could kill plenty snails. One say he now set out to look for sukoya to kill them because salt cheap. I have seen so many memes about salt. One say he cooking plenty food now, he could afford to eating food with plenty salt because salt is cheap. He couldn't eat food with salt. But I had so much fun last night with people with this foolishness with salt and Moby and suko in VAT off of that.
Yeah.
I think it was really, really funny. And I saw the one with Dr. Khan. Very interesting. It ain't so far-fetched, when there.
No, not very far-fetched.
10 cents.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
You have a lot to say this morning, boy.
The machinery working now, We had to work.
Who are the landlords? Who are the owners of most of the alcohol and cigarette places? I don't know.
But half of them in Parliament are landlords, Wendell.
Well, we know almost all of them are.
Yeah, but you know what is strange to me? How in Trinidad and Tobago are you tracking down who's a landlord or not?
That's what I want to find out.
Because it's no tenant going and report a landlord because it means your rent going to go up.
Yes.
So you're not going to say, hey, I renting from A, B, and C. You're not going to report. You're going to say, the landlord might say, hey, all keep quiet here, all his cousins and all they living here.
Richard, how wicked people do it.
But when that's not true, that is operate. Hey, everybody here is cousin now.
This family, one big family house.
When you're pulling bull, that's when you start to tell the police when they pull you over. Hey, all his relatives, everybody's my cousin.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it work. You feel you don't know our people when there.
Oh my God. People, we are going for the news at 7 o'clock, and we will be back. Stay with us here.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Guile Caribbean. I'm Derek. The government has officially terminated the CPEP and URP programs, replacing them with a plan for sustainable full-time jobs. Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur made the announcement during his 2025 to 2026 budget presentation, saying the move aims to end the state funding of criminal gangs while giving citizens better-paying, long-term employment. He said an employment fund of $475 million will be created within the Ministry of Finance, supported by $310 million from the Unemployment Fund. Earlier this year, hundreds of CPEP and URP contracts were canceled, a move that sparked legal action by several contractors. Thakur said the new approach marks a turning point for Trinidad and Tobago, promising stability, dignity, and opportunity for workers across the nation. The 2025-2026 national budget has been described as for the people by TT Automotive Dealers Association President Visham Babwa, who welcomed new measures aimed at making vehicles more affordable. Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur announced tax reforms designed to balance affordability, environmental responsibility, and economic control. From January 1, 2026, luxury electric vehicles valued over $400,000 CIF will now attract a 10% customs duty, 12.5% VAT, and a tiered vehicle tax, while lower-priced EVs will remain exempt. The age limit on used car imports has also increased, from 3 to 6 years for private vehicles and 7 to 10 years for light commercial types. Babwa said the changes followed consultation with the industry and would ease pressure on citizens struggling with high vehicle costs. He also praised the government's $1 reduction in super gasoline, calling it a people-first move. Former Energy Minister Stuart Young has blasted the 2025-2026 national budget as one of smoke and mirrors, warning it could lead to a raid on the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Young said the $59.2 billion budget delivered by Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur relies on unrealistic oil price estimates of $73.25 per barrel, predicting serious shortfalls and cash flow issues. He described the budget as populist, claiming it will trigger higher inflation and job losses, even as he supported the $1 reduction in super gasoline. Young also accused the government of persecuting the vulnerable through the shutdown of CPEP and URP, while warning that new taxes on landlords, banks, and electricity users will raise the cost of living. He said no new energy or revenue-generating initiatives were announced, and questioned how the government plans to fund its promised 10% salary increase for public servants. The High Court has ordered the Office of the Prime Minister to release the names of all people and entities paid legal and consultancy fees for work linked to the 2022 Paria Diving Tragedy Commission of Inquiry. Within 7 days, Justice Joan Charles ruled that the OPM's refusal to disclose the names was illegal and in breach of the Freedom of Information Act, saying public spending must be open to public scrutiny. The case was brought by activist Marshall Walker, represented by senior counsel Anand Ramlakan. The OPM, under the former PNM administration, had argued that revealing the names could endanger recipients, but the judge dismissed that as unsupported. She also found the OPM's claim that no such document existed extremely unlikely, noting an audit of total sums had already been done. The OPM must now disclose the full list and pay Walker's legal costs. President General of the Contractors and General Workers Trade Union, Ermin Debik Mead, says she hopes her members at the San Fernando City Corporation will not be left behind if other unions receive a cost of living allowance. COLA, in renewed negotiations with the Chief Personnel Officer, Commander Dr. Daryl Dindial, Debik Mead said the union had requested a side letter guaranteeing equal treatment if similar workers got better terms, but the CPO refused. During Monday's budget, Finance Minister Devendranath Thankoo announced the collective agreements signed in April for teachers, the Defense Force, and both city corporations will be ratified. The Prime Minister has also instructed a revised 10% salary offer for the civil service and other sectors. Debik Mead said she's awaiting word from the CPO and hopes her members won't be disadvantaged after signing a 4% agreement earlier this year. Agriculture Society President Daryl Rampersad says he's cautiously optimistic about the government's latest promises for the agriculture sector. He told Newsday the association has heard many commitments before that never materialized, but hopes this time will be different. Rampersad said removing VAT on farming equipment and expanding incentives would be a welcome boost, but he wants to see action, not talk. The Finance Minister Devendranath Thankoo announced a $1.13 billion allocation for agriculture in the 2025-2026 budget, slightly less than last year, with plans to make farming inputs VAT-free, remove customs duties on animal feed from January, and provide new support for hydroponics, greenhouses, and youth entrepreneurship. He said these measures aim to reduce food imports by 25% by 2030 and double agro exports by 2028. In the region, the United States carried out another maritime strike off Venezuela early Tuesday, killing 6 men, the U.S. says, were traffickers linked to a designated terrorist organization, President Donald Trump announced. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the strike and released unclassified footage showing drones tracking and striking the vessel in what U.S. officials say were international waters. No U.S. personnel were harmed. It's the 5th such operation in just over a month, part of a wider Southern Command campaign, the Pentagon says, targets narco-terrorist networks. Critics, including legal experts and representatives at an emergency UN Security Council session, condemned the strikes as extrajudicial and warned they risk violating international law. Venezuela, Russia, and China protested the actions. U.S. officials insist the measures are intelligence-driven and necessary to stop drugs and organized crime threats to national security. In international news, an elite military unit in Madagascar says it has seized power from President Andry Rajoelina after weeks of youth-led protests. Speaking outside the presidential palace, Colonel Michael Randrianarina, head of the powerful CAPSAT unit, announced the military will form a transitional government and hold elections within 2 years. He also suspended several democratic institutions, including the Electoral Commission. Thousands of protesters and soldiers celebrated in the capital Antananarivo after the announcement. Rajoelina's office has condemned what it calls an attempted coup d'etat, insisting the president remains in charge, though his whereabouts are unknown. The unrest began over severe water and power cuts, but grew into wider anger over corruption, unemployment, and rising living costs. The African Union has warned against military interference, while France and the United States have called for calm and a return to constitutional order. And that's news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh, hey. I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh, hey. Sour, I come in there. Nova, I come in there. Santa Cruz, I come in there. Yes, a day and a day and a day and a day. Victon, I come in there. John, I come in there. Lavanti, I come in there. Yes, a day and a day and a coming day. People, let's come on, people, let's go on. That is one thing I already know. Who said I cannot try me too high to check out my friends, tell them I say no. The sweetest Christmas in the whole world is in Trinidad and Tobago. The reason why this thing is so sweet is tonight gets fun and into one flow. Arima, I come in there. Tunapuna, I come in there. Aruka, I come in there. Yes, a day and a day and a day and a day. Ramen, I come in there. Point Fortin, I come in there. Biko Martin, I come in there. Yes, a day and a day and a coming day. Anybody who watch Johnny White to go by them are not thinking twice. They could have be down in Fajapat, they could have be in Paradise Heights. If they don't have, I will not complain. Bring all the Hennessy and punching. The women when I'm single barrel and party ginger beer and the sorrel. Brandy, I come in there from Safari. I come in there to the valley. I come in there, yes, a day and a day and a day and a day. The arrow, I come in there for the Seto. I come in from Diablo. I come in there, yes, a day and a day and a come in there. I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh, hey. I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh, hi, 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 hi. I'll be passing by. Hi, 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 hi. I'll be passing by. Hey, Sour, I come in there. Nova,
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show. Fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
I come in there. Yes, a day and a day and I come in there.
Sawa, I come in there. Arima, we come in there. San Fernando, we come in there. People in the Caribbean, we come in there. People around the globe, we come in there. Welcome inside the second hour here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio. Remember, we stream all day, every day on newerattradio.com. You can get us on New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. So you get us on your Alexa and all your Google devices. All right, so let me say also a very special good morning to the Gael family. So all the folks who are picking us up on Gael TV, thank you so much for being here with us also. So continue to vote on the poll. Remember, yes or no first, and then put in your comments. And when we come back, we will go through that. And then we have our Let's Talk feature coming up. So all that is on the other side of the break. So stay right here. It's New Era TT Radio.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Chamflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Chamflair. We do it all.
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
The public is demanding it, so the laughter continues. Your Don't Fall to Watch Corn is now at Central Bank Auditorium for 2 nights only. Saturday, October 25th at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday, October 26th at 6:30 p.m. Don't miss the play that some say is the funniest of all time. Tickets available now online and at the usual outlets. And from Monday, October 20th, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily at the Central Bank box office. Your Don't Fall to Watch Corn has been matching up audiences.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Of course, we are back, and I know this is the point at which we go through our poll results. I don't know if Wendell is on top of the poll results at this point.
I'm always on top. Always.
Especially on a day like today.
Mm-hmm.
You're going down that rabbit hole.
Susan, you ready?
This is a special one, man.
If you didn't know before, you know now, okay? Susan Jessup says no. Of course, where is our poll? Put it back up, please.
Yeah.
Do you expect lower taxi fares? Do you expect a reduction in taxi fares due to the lowering of super gasoline? That's our poll today. Susan Jessup says no. Ava Smith, no. Florence Bazi, no. Michael Cadet, no. Fix the Road. Joyce Phillip, never. Bernadette Yates, no. Diane Payne, no. Michael Oliver, no. Rena Jennings, no. Eunice Dublin, no. Gerald Pollinaire, no. Debbie Mitchell, didn't vote there. Stephen Harper, no. Debbie Mitchell, no. Votes now. Toko Sangre Grande Women's League of the PNM. I've never seen that one. No. Helen Prescott, no. Beauty Culture, no. K. George, that's Kenny and Harlem, no. Kelcher Cambridge, no. Apollinaris Estelita Sampson, no. Florence Bazi, what about Morby and Salt? Okay. Wayne Jones from Ontario, Canada says no. Jason Samuel says no. Derek Billion, no. Valerie Mendoza, no. Margaret Thomas, no. Maria Celia, no. Lester Cragwell, only old vehicles and lawnmowers use super. Yeah, true, eh? Well, yeah. Old vehicles. No, some of them new vehicles using thing, people mixing it.
No, they have some new vehicles also using super.
Yeah. A lot of them vehicles, foreign use vehicles using super. Lester Cragwell says, okay, Marlon Motley, no. Derek Billion says the owners of alcohol and okay. Brennan Smith, no. Beauty Culture didn't vote here. Prabha Ramdial, happy birthday, thank you. Alistair Hart says no. Cheryl Henry didn't vote. Carol Guevara, no. Slick Money Grip, no. Okay. Classic Brother says no. Queen of Soca is in cinemas tomorrow, so says Jason Samuel. I have to see that. It looks very interesting. That's with Penelope Spencer.
She's an actor.
Yeah, she's in it. She's the mother of the Queen of Soca, right?
Yeah.
Is that the role she's playing?
Why should I tell you? Go and see the show.
No, but I saw a trailer
Okay.
and it looks that way.
Well, go and see the movie.
We will be encouraging a lot of people to go and see that movie. Trust me. Classic Brother says no. Kenwin Henry says yes. Joseph Clement says no. Damian Edwin says no. Diana Hamill, no. Gemma Peters, no. Miguel Gonzalez, no. Carla Hercules, no. Crystal Stevenson, no. Michael Robinson, no. Cathy and Charles, no. Ebony, no. This is Alicia. Trini in Boston, no. Dean Allen says, yo, my Camry is this super, bro. You have a Camry thing, Dean? Cat Consultant Services, who's Chris Souza, says no. Yes, Chris. Joseph Clement didn't vote. Melchizedek says no. And Andrew Joseph, no. That's it.
All right. So on the WhatsApp, we have DL saying no. Pauline saying, of course, yes. Judith in Tobago is saying no. Terry and Peters in Mova say no. Manish didn't vote here. Manish was calling earlier on, Wendell, to wish you happy birthday.
Yes. I saw he put a greeting there just now, Michael.
Right. So Brenda in Pinal, no. Zena, no. And Laverne, no. Christine says no. Raymond says no. And Sean says yes. Those are what we have so far. Any others by you, Wendell?
No, that's it. Andrew Joseph.
No last stragglers. All right.
And
So
Michael
voted-
Robinson, aka Manish, thanks for the birthday greeting. Brent Hackshaw just came in with a no, so that's it. The break record there?
I think you're probably still in the 40s.
Oh, you're not in the 40s. So we had 57 people voting on the poll this morning. And of the 57, of course, the poll this morning was, do you expect a reduction in taxi fares due to the lowering of super gasoline? We had 57 people voting on the poll. Of the 57 people, 54 of you said, no, you do not expect a reduction in taxi fares due to the lowering of super gasoline. And 3 of you said, yes, you do. 54 said no, 3 said yes. So obviously, the nays have it in terms of that poll this morning. And the poll is now at an end. That's
Jeffrey.
it. We're done.
Jeffrey picking up paper in the back there.
All right. 2 more
Well, I see
training, but it's
Gavin
too
Nicholas
late.
is already in, so we might as well bring him in. And we, of course, we go straight into our Let's Talk segment for this morning. So good morning, Gavin Nicholas, and thanks so much for joining us this morning on The Breakfast Show.
Good morning, gentlemen, and good
Morning,
morning, to
morning,
all
Mr.
listeners,
Nicholas.
viewers.
Yeah.
And
And so we can jump straight into it because and I know we just have limited time. We have about 10, 15 minutes maybe. So the budget, 2025, 2026 budget, what's your overall view on it?
well, I think clearly the government approached the delivery of this budget to appear to be a people-centered government. There were a lot of consultations before the budget, and clearly that they listened to the input of the participants during those debates. Of course, like every budget, it would not be perfect. There would be people who would consider themselves winners and some consider themselves losers. But at the end of the day, we must understand that we are where we are economically, And in order to judge whether this budget is a good budget or not, we need to decide whether the presentations would actually move this country forward and would help the majority of the population, especially the most vulnerable. And this is what I see happening. I listened to your poll. I don't think if the diesel, premium, and super were half in price, you would see a reduction in taxi fare. So, as far as I'm concerned, fares only go up; they never go down, and so too prices. So, and that is just a reality. Whether the $1 helps the average person or a wide cross-section of the society, I think it does. I think most people use super in their vehicles, and surely if it is that you are spending money to fill a 50-liter tank and you're saving $1 each liter and you're saving $50 every time you go to the pump, and you do that twice or three times a month, surely it is an obvious saving of $150 to $200 a month on petrol. I also feel that the promise for the 10% of the public servants is a good one. It not only addresses the manifesto promise, but by having more money circulating in the system, it helps business. It gives greater confidence to the business community for people wanting to set up a little small business. And that is also a good thing, because then that redounds the confidence in the entire economy, which then causes people to invest and people to stay in the economy. So, and that is what we're looking for in order to grow the economy.
What are your thoughts, Gavin, on the issue of the landlord tax now? Well, it's almost like property tax in a clever kind of way.
Well, it's property tax in a clever kind of way for those earning from their property, as opposed to the property tax that was presented by the former administration, which meant that you were going to be paying a surcharge on your property for just living in it after you have acquired it, after you might have inherited it, and that might be your only property. You may be in just trying to survive, and then you had this onerous property tax put on you. Not that I am against any kind of land tax, because I think that if it is that you are living in an area and you want services, there must be some way that you subsidize the provision of those services. But to answer your question, the surcharge on landlords, and certainly the 3.5% on rents above 20,000 is almost akin to what the property tax would have been for those properties. It's slightly higher, but it's not onerous in any way. And again, it focuses on properties that are income generating as opposed to properties that are not.
But how is a determination to be made as to who is a landlord?
Well, again, it is for landlords to register. I imagine that, and again, the devil is in the detail, and I suppose that would come out during the debate, as would most of the flesh being put on the bones of the budget statement will come out during the course of the debate. But it is necessary for landlords to now register as landlords, and I imagine they would get some kind of certification. And if it is that people are renting properties without that certification and they are found out and reported, then obviously there will be a penalty for that. So it would depend on how the government intends to police that policy. So I look forward to hearing how they would do that.
Do you see that?
I can't. Sorry, Wendell. I can't see how that's going to be efficiently done in a country like Trinidad and Tobago, where we are not very good at enforcement and not very good at locating things like that. And furthermore, it seems a little it seems a little backward in terms of its approach, because both governments, the PNM and the UNC, and whatever its configuration was previously, have not looked at updating and modernizing our landlord-tenant law. It has remained archaic. We have no infrastructure, modern infrastructure, to deal with abuses by landlords or abuses by tenants in any reasonable time frame.
And you're
the rent assessment board and all of those issues have been out the window. Those are by far more important things than having landlords register for a $2,500 fee, because you have some people who are landlords who are renting places that are absolutely not suitable for human habitation. Absolutely not. But you want the $2,500 from that landlord rather than seeing what your citizens are living and where they're living. So it seems a little bit like you're putting stuff in front without dealing with some of the substantive issues that affect the landlord-tenant relationship. And of course, my personal belief is that nothing really is going to happen, because most of the 41 people that said they are in fact landlords. So they have no vested interest in improving that. That's my only explanation for the landlord-tenant law not being modernized.
Well, I see your point. I have no difficulty with the points that you've expressed. In fact, I believe that if it is that persons are now registering as landlords, and I do hope that there would be a coherent system put in place. I know that the government is moving swiftly towards digitizing its services, and therefore it would then become a lot easier to identify property owners and property landlords. And then we can take the opportunity to ensure that landlords are providing proper accommodation for tenants. And of course, it then gives tenants the opportunity, I imagine, to formally make reports where, one, the landlords are not registered, and two, where the accommodation is not up to standard.
But Gavin, there is no infrastructure right now. If the infrastructure is not up to par, people are just looking for places to live, and they're stuck with whatever the market provides. In addition to which, why as a tenant would I report my landlord when I know that really probably means there's going to be an increase in my rent? What's my motivation? Human beings operate on self-interest, as a lot of the times do politicians. So what is my motivation as a tenant to report a landlord? If I know that landlord, once he's registered and has to pay, because not only does he have to pay a $2,500 registration fee, he now has to pay a percentage of how much rent he depends on, how much rental properties he has. And he's obviously, any business, because a landlord is a business, is going to pass on those costs to the end user. So what is the motivation for me as a tenant to say, boy, I'm going this morning to report my landlord, I want my rent to go up? Am I making sense to you?
As I said, the motivation would come with regards to the substandard accommodation. If it is, and again, you make a fair point, and again, I say that I am not the one presenting the budget, and I am not the one presenting the policy, so that I look forward to hearing how they will flesh it out in terms of, because with everything, I mean, all policies presented in budgets require implementation, and that has always been an issue with regards to every budget from the beginning of time, implementation. And that is why every year they come back and they report what it is, what percentage of the promises or the hopes and dreams that they presented in the budget were actually achieved, because implementation is an issue.
But you could say it's nonsense and it ain't working. You could say that, because
but I don't think it's nonsense. To be fair, I don't think it's nonsense. There are many policies out there that even the property tax. It took a while for people to actually register themselves as property owners, and they did that. And I tell you why people did that, because they did that under the umbrella of a penalty for not doing so. And if there is a proper penalty in place for landlords who do not register as landlords, all you need to do is to catch one,
Well, I'm
And
glad
give
you
an
said
example
that.
of that.
I'm glad you said that because nothing was mentioned about a penalty. So therefore, do you think then that it may be targeted against certain people whom they know are landlords, who they know for certain are landlords? Do you think that's their target?
Well, of course, you would start off by knowing who are landlords, because there are some landlords that are obvious. I mean, you clearly have places that are apartment buildings at rentals, or areas that are clear rentals, and so those would be difficult to hide. But as I said, in fleshing out this policy, I imagine that they would have to ensure that there is a penalty for people who do not register as landlords.
Okay. I wanted to discuss, Gavin, because you have electricity rates that are going up for commercial and industrial users. You also have, in addition to those electricity rates that will face banks and insurance companies that have their own buildings wherever they're paying electricity. They're going to be affected by that increase, banks and insurance companies. In addition to which, banks and insurance companies also have an asset levy of sorts. Well, not of sorts, an asset levy in terms of whatever their assets are. So they're getting a double whammy in terms of banks and insurance companies. Of course, they're passing that on to consumers. There's no way you could twist and turn their businesses. They operate on a profit margin. They're going to pass on those costs to consumers by increased fees, however they do it. So your insurance for your car insurance is probably going to go up next year, as is your house insurance. However, they put those increases because they're now facing two increases: electricity rates and the asset levy, particular to their industry. I'm not so sure. They could check with their lawyers about the issue of that within a constitutional framework, but that they are particularly targeted, that's an issue. I think that probably has some legal issues attached to it, but that's for them to work out as their business. They have the money for that. But all of these things affect everyday life. So you get, and you could tell me your opinion on this. So you get $1 in super, you get a reduction in salt, Moby, and some other items that people made enough memes about. I don't know that Moby was a big issue that people were clamoring for a reduction in the price of. But anyway, you have reduced the price on certain issues. But if you send up electricity rates for commercial and industrial users, that includes supermarkets. So that same price that you reduced in VAT is going to go up anyway. Because so you might have reduced or taken off the VAT of 12.5% on Moby and salt. Let's just look at those two things because they were specifically identified. But with electricity rates going up, naturally, supermarkets who are considerable users of electricity because they have cold storage.
So I hear your point, and I know that we don't have a lot of time, so let's deal with the point. The point is, one, with regards to the surcharge on banks and insurance companies, and the second issue is that of electricity. Most importantly, and I even imagine we can deal with NIS as well. We are in a situation where the economy is not growing. Because of policies of the last 10 years, people could say before that as well, the economy has slowed down. You have had a situation where we are not earning the revenue to sustain our debt repayment, to our recurrent expenditure. We are seeing where the NIS system was about to collapse. And therefore, the reality is we needed to earn money to keep this country going. We have a choice of how to earn money. We can either penalize those who cannot afford, or we can go after people who can afford and who it will not really affect them in any significant way. With regards to the electricity, I have heard and I have listened very carefully to the business chamber, the manufacturing chamber, and others who have said that the proposal for the rate increase is less than what the RIC had intended to do under the last regime. And therefore, they don't think it is going to be in any way oppressive to them. So that even if they have to pass on some kind of charges to the customer, again, which we also have to understand, there's only so far you can go with passing on costs to customers before they leave. So that it will be necessary for these organizations who are making billions in a year to absorb some of those expenditure and actually give back to the country that in which they're operating and making a hell of a lot of money. And if I were the government and I saw that these organizations were taking advantage of the consumers by passing on every single cost that in terms of the surcharge, then I would find a way to find a supernormal tax and put on them, because it is ridiculous. You cannot have a society where you have a large group of people fighting to live on a daily basis, to feed their children, to get a bread when they in their pocket, on their plate. And then you have a small group of people who have money to burn, who are burying money because they don't know what to do with their money and making billions upon billions a year. I am not against businesses doing well. In fact, I want businesses to do well. And in fact, I am happy that the government is moving towards streamlining business operations so that more people can get into the system and there be greater ease of doing business. I am happy that they are looking at restructuring the VAT system to ensure that persons who have been waiting years for a VAT return no longer have to do so. I am happy that of the 10%, I'm happy of the $1. I'm happy that they've chosen to go the route of increasing customs duties on cigarettes and alcohol, which are dangerous and unhealthy, and a good way of raising revenue. I am happy that they've increased the penalties for reckless driving and for driving under the influence of alcohol. And I understand, I mean, in terms of the landlord surcharge, as I said, it is only slightly more than what would pertain under the property tax regime. So that, quite frankly, it is not onerous, and it would be absurd for them to say that it is onerous, because it is absolutely not onerous. If you ask me what else I would have liked to see in this budget, I can tell you that I would have liked to see a greater emphasis on diversification.
That's a whole, you know, every budget, people are trying to say that.
Because people speak to diversification without actually doing anything about diversification. And one thing I can tell you is that in order to earn foreign exchange in Trinidad and Tobago, and in order to diversify this economy where most of the people can actually participate and benefit from the diversification, it is the industry of tourism. Tourism is there for us to harness, both in Trinidad and Tobago, and we have not done it for one reason or the other. I cannot understand. And so two policies that I would have liked to see. One, we set up and do like some of the Middle Eastern countries and set up a tourism development fund. This tourism development fund would allow for every single citizen to participate in this in the tourism industry. Whether you set it up, whether you use UTT or a bank or or use an independent company that is set up for this purpose, where people are able to invest in this organization, and then this organization can then partner with government using land as equity, build out tourism infrastructure across the country, advertise our product, that is Trinidad and Tobago product tourism, across the globe, make money from it, pay dividends to the investors, and get everybody on board for tourism in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's an easy win. It is a quick win. It is one that would bring money to the hands, to the pockets of ordinary citizens and generate significant foreign exchange. The other thing I would have liked them to do is to regularize the land that where we have thousands upon thousands of squatters. who have lived on these lands for periods in excess of 20, 30 years, and who it is extremely difficult to move. They are going to be there, they are going to live there. Nobody else is going to occupy these lands. But however, if you regularize them, you can charge them a small fee for that land. You will generate revenue. You will then allow them to have possession of that property, which they can then develop on their own and feel confident that they can invest money into those properties, develop those areas, and therefore use it to get mortgages, to further develop the areas. And you will see an increase in living standard across the board in those communities. You will also have the ability to generate income, much needed revenue for the government.
Yeah, well, Gavin, that's where we have to wrap it this morning. Thank you very much for that. We will be getting back to you, though, because we have a lot to talk about as the debate on the budget continues.
Yes, there is a lot to talk about, and I do hope that, too often we only have a one-sided kind of approach to budget debates, to discussions on budget debates. And I think we need to actually think beyond the norm. I think we need to understand exactly where we are. We need to know that we have to fix, and I don't want to use the fix it phrase, quite honestly, but we need to actually move this country forward in a sustainable way, and we must do so by creating the least chaos and difficulty to the majority.
All right, thank you very much.
Right. Thanks a lot, Gavin. We appreciate you.
Have a good day.
Yeah, but we're bringing in our next guest one time because look at man, Mariano Brown is our next guest. Mariano, sorry for the little delay there.
That's all right. I understand you're busy.
Thanks for joining us again. Mariano, what are your initial thoughts about budget 2025-2026?
There are some good points. There are some negative points. There are some issues. The first point, the positive note is that you have to thank Mr. Nanku for taking the bull by the horns with respect to NIS. As you know, I have been a campaigner on behalf of the National Insurance Board and the difficulties that they face therein. If only because I continue with my inherited responsibility from the time when I was in office and wasn't able to get everything that we needed to get done. There is a fallacy that if you bring self-employed people into the system, that it will improve the contribution effect. That's not true. When you bring self-employed people in, first of all, they have to pay full contributions. That means that they have to pay the contributions as though the employer were paying for them. And now that when you bring them in, it also most people are coming into the system after a period of service. Now that background service or the lack of contribution means that they bring with them a deficit, and that increases the deficit available to the fund. At current calculations, bringing the self-employed into the fund adds about 250 million to $500 million adds to the deficit in the fund. So bringing self-employed people in the fund is not a positive. That won't help the fund. That's one. So that the decisions with regard to changing the rate, the retirement age, and increasing the contributions immediately change the effective fail date on the fund. Doesn't stop the fund from having difficulty. It changes the effective fail date from 2033 to 2049. You get 16 years. That's all that this has done. This hasn't fixed anything.
But how then would the loss of jobs, because all the CPAP workers, they were paying NIS, all the URP workers, they were paying NIS, and the fact that they've all now lost their jobs, wouldn't that have also had an effect on the NIS?
Of course. It will have an effect with regard to the contribution income. But the changes that are made are not going to help the fund immediately. The fund, remember, had gone into a deep position. Next year, the payment structure is about 7 billion. They're going to pay out 7 billion, and they probably will have to sell assets, but not as much, right? Then it will start to recover and recover for a period. Now they have a lot of other things that still have to come, right? So it's not just simply that they've solved everything and NIS is good to go again. NIS isn't good to go again. It's good to go again for another 16 years. All right. They still have other things to do, which is calibrating savings, the pension fund with private pension funds, improving portability, and all those other kinds of things, which have always been in cards, which have not been done. Now, those will take a longer time. But the point is, we haven't done it for 20 years. So you're always behind the 8 ball. So this is a time where you have to hustle up to make all those changes if you want to make the pension fund a viable issue. Right? And
Do you think there should have been more, because they have done it over a graded period, I think from 2027?
It's going to take 10 years. 10 years.
Yes.
Right. Do you think they should have moved up that timeline?
Yes. But by the time they do it, I mean, this you have to remember, this government has a lot of union people in it. So they're going to, what you call it, if they have to do it, they're going to have to do it and they have to sell it. So they have an extended period in which to get it done. So the effect is gradual and not immediate. And you get immediate pushback. You don't have to look too far to see how people react when they change the pensionable age. Just look to France, right? This is one of the times when go to France means something. So that's on the positive side, right? So that's a very positive development. I guess we could also be pleased with the manner in which he delivered the budget. It was very much of a communication exercise. And a call and response back, very much like in the Calypso, you know. So everybody wins, this one wins, that one wins, but the devil now becomes in the details. So we have to go to look at the objective numbers. In the budget, he talked about, for example, that they inherited the government increased the debt and so on, and we picked up the debt at 140 million, but when we left office, it was 70 billion. Well, that's true, right? But between April and July, the budget deficit, sorry, not the budget deficit, the debt, the national debt moved from 140 to 148. So that's $8 billion in 4 months. Right? So the devil is in the details. And quite frankly, he didn't talk about how he's going to finance the deficit and the other things that have to happen. So the numbers are a little confusing. I think that the revenue is overstated. Last year, Inbud projected $55 billion. He got 50. The previous year, projected $55 billion. He got 50, right? This year, the UNC is projecting $55 billion. Well, question mark, are they going to get more than 50 or not? Right? A lot of that is predicated on the ability to get 600 million cubic feet a day extra, right? To raise the gas production to 3.2 billion. Well, that's a presumption that Manatee will come on stream, and Manatee will come on stream early in the year. Manatee's not coming on stream early in the year. It's going to come on stream in the middle of the year or later in the year, right? Or maybe in early 2028, right? So there's some issues with regard to the revenue.
2027.
2027, sorry. No. Either in late 2027 or early 2028. I am making a point. I am not clear that you're getting the presumption for the numbers to hold, right? Will have to be that you have some increase in gas coming from somewhere. Where's that? I don't see it coming in next year. The average production for this year so far, there have been increases to 2.6, 2.7, but the average is 2.5 billion cubic feet a day for this year, right? You have to have some extra fines, etc., for it to go up to 3.2 in 2026. I don't see that. Right, that might happen in 2027 and maybe 2028. I don't see it for 2026. Right, so the presumption is that the revenue numbers are going to go up because we're going to have extra production. I don't see that in the cards.
Yeah.
Right?
Your opinion? Yeah. Sorry to cut you, Marion, but we can't let 8 o'clock come and we don't talk about the landlord tax. What is in effect a kind of a property tax? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that's going to be passed on straight on to consumers. I don't see how we're going to get away from that. Apart from that, it's confusing, right? The presumption is that everybody who is collecting rent are not paying income tax on it. That's the presumption. Right? Clearly, there are people who are in that particular position, right? And are not. right? But suppose that I'm a corporation, I'm in the business of, for example, building and renting on properties, and they collect tax, and I've been paying my tax on it. I have to go and pay a landlord's tax on it too, and then I have to pay a surcharge on top of it. Now that's not clear, because it means that I'm now suffering. I'm in double jeopardy. Right? I'm paying income tax already. Now I have to pay a surcharge on top of it, and then I have to pay a registration fee. Right? The cumulative effect on that is that you're doubling my taxation. My taxation rate has just gone up beyond, assuming that they're within 25 or even the 30% range. Right? You've just increased my taxation a substantial amount, 3.5% or 3% on the nominal value. Is a significant, is a 30% increase overall, right? So what you're saying, my effective rate of tax is now 60%. So that has to be clarified. I don't think that is enough. I don't think that has been sufficiently explained.
Do you believe it's targeted to one group of people, a particular group of people?
Of course, it's targeted to a particular group of people, but who are they? Who are they? Right? They live amongst us. Who are they?
They do.
Are they? I mean, generally speaking, people build for retirement. And retirement, you rent out. You have to be at a certain stage. You have to have either one, live long enough to basically pay for your house. You're looking for extra income, so you're renting out part of your property, right? So those are retirees, right? So all right. So and there are other people, for example, who have built income by investing in property. They've done that over time, right? So if they have that and they have a kind of corporation and/or they declare the taxes already, what happens if they're already in a declaration position? Right. This is the presumption of this tax is that the people who they are targeting are people who are not in the net. Right. Now how you make a distinction.
Yeah.
Right?
Mr. Brown, the former energy minister, Mr. Young, is predicting that the budget is unrealistic, and he also is forecasting a run on the or going into the Heritage and Civilization Fund. What are your views on that?
I think that's perfectly possible, right? If this year we had $50 billion in revenue and they had $59 billion in expenditure, and they had a deficit of $8.5 billion, they had originally projected 10 billion, and it's 8.5. If it's 8.5, you have 15. You know you have $59 billion in expenditure. Well, and the same as this year. Well, even allowing for inflation, that will go up by at least 2%, right? So we know that the expenditure budget is going to rise. Secondly, I don't know because I have not clear on the figures. But my information tells me that the projections with respect to the back pay and the renegotiation for 10% is understated at something like $1 billion. That's understated, right? In which case the expenditure is going to be greater than $59 billion. And so it means if you actually achieve the revenue of 55, your deficit is going to increase, right? I am saying I don't expect the revenue numbers at 55 billion to hold. I don't expect them to hold. All right. The outlook for natural gas prices is negative, notwithstanding that our benchmark pricing now includes different, if you want, baskets, including in the Asian basin and the European basin and so on. Well, if the world market is in oversupply, world prices everywhere are going to decline. All right. So in which case the realized price is going to be low. And the presumption in the budget is that you're going to have increased production prices. Increased production. I don't see it. All right. I don't see an increased production to the extent that they're talking about. 20% increase in natural gas production when we have been declining consistently over time. I don't think we've had the kind of exploration to take place in the last couple of years to basically make certain that we'll compensate for everything that's going wrong. We just do it religiously. All of a sudden, it won't happen today. No, we don't see that.
Do you think that the Dragon gas field will make any impact?
Zero for the foreseeable future. I mean, we've gone through this already. My position has not changed, right? If anything, I'm firmer in my position, right? It's not our gas, right? You have to remember that. It's in Venezuela waters, right? So you're in the position of a supplicant, right? Now you have a supplicant, you have a gorilla in your back that tells you, well, right, you're stronger now. You go and tell them you're going to pay X or you're not going to pay X and Y. There's a production, there's an agreement in position. The agreement has prices, the agreement has tax rates, the agreement has royalties. All of that's already in position, right? So you get an OFAC license, go and renegotiate. That's what you get. And you're going to renew on whose terms? On the terms that America gave us. So Venezuela's going to say, I understand what happened in Venezuela between America and themselves and so on. We'll give you a chance. We'll give you a break, right? No.
What about Exxon's re-entry and in the deep water field? Are you optimistic about that?
Well, optimism is not money, Optimism is optimism. You gotta wait and see. Right?
But are you thinking that they may find some stuff?
The answer is that Trinidad is a what you call it is we have 60% of your geological province is unexplored. Right, so there's a possibility that we'll find it. The difficulty is this is in deeper waters. Now let's take a look at the international energy situation. There are places where it is easier to extract than Trinidad and Tobago. There's a reason why OPEC is increasing its output, right? Why? The OPEC is increasing its output to basically remove America as a swing producer. The shale oil producers are the ones who are falling out of the market. They can't survive at $60. That's the reason why the price is going down. OPEC is basically driving market share. I'm taking back my market share from the US, right? And I'm driving marginal producers in North America out. So we aren't seeing no $73 in gas in oil prices in the next year. No, that ain't happening, right? And that's not because of us. We are price takers. Right, we're producing 55,000 barrels of oil. What Guyana producing now? 600,000 barrels of oil. Right, it is a gas equivalency in terms of energy equivalent that basically gives Trinidad and Tobago a little muscle. And right now, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana in approximately the same position in terms of the total amount of production and what we're producing, about 600,000 barrel oils of oil equivalent. Right, except we have inbuilt plant capacity for 4 billion cubic feet, right? So it means that we have plants which are shut and they are going to remain shut. If you're an investor, you will want to remain in that position in a country? No, you're not, right? So you're going to get the same.
So that $72 is way too ambitious.
Well, it's ambitious, all right? So I don't see, we're really talking about the gas in anyhow, but you also have to remember, right? You have to remember in what you call it in religious terms. I'm sorry, not in religious terms. Sorry, I have to change the way I say that. You have to remember, right, that gas is an alternative to oil. Gas is an alternative to oil from an energy equivalent basis. Alternative, right? Which means that if the price of oil is coming down, right, the relative attraction of natural gas is increasing. Right? The relative price of natural gas is increasing. So it's not going to have that effect that you're looking for. It's not going to have the effect that you're looking for. Right? It can't have the effect that you're looking for because I could switch from natural gas to oil. Right? So there's a deflator effect. When the price of oil goes down, it has a deflator effect on the natural gas and natural gas consumption, right? So you have to take those two things into consideration. That's how companies rebalance their production and make changes.
Yeah.
Right? I have a choice. I could either buy fuel oil or I could buy natural gas. Right?
Just one final question before we go, Mariano. The issue of tourism and the tourism aspect of any budget in Trinidad and Tobago, what can we do about it? One, and two, why is it that Sandals is busy building in other Caribbean islands but looks at Tobago? I don't know if it's considered Tobago unattractive, but why they don't?
Did we restart talks with Sandals at one time?
No, but we were building the capacity at the time. But what I'm saying is that Sandals is actually making considerable investments of their own money in other islands of the Caribbean chain. Why is Tobago not considered as part of the Sanders portfolio? I don't know if you can answer that,
but just before Dr. Rowley demitted office, there were talks again with Sanders, not so, and with Tobago involved, the new THA. Didn't that happen? Or am I remembering wrong?
There were, but so we have to get a couple of things in position. A number of things in position. First of all, tourism is a product. The thing about Sandals and Sandals as a product is it requires exclusivity. In Jamaica, for example, the all-inclusive concept means that my beaches are private. Right, that's the difficulty with Sandals in operating in a Trinidadian context. Right, the general law is you have the access to the beach up to the high water mark. Right now, what you want to have an all-inclusive effectively is that you don't want anybody coming in your property. Right, you're blocking off everybody, the external, and that including beach and everything else. Right, so that's a social issue that has to be dealt with. The second one. Tourism investor is no different to an oil investor or a multinational corporation. It's the same issue, right? I'm going to negotiate the best terms that I have available, right? And I'm bringing something to you that you want. So I'm going to extract concessions, right? Typically, I think we make far more money in Hyatt because the negotiations on that were actually very good. I have to compliment the people who negotiated that deal. And it worked out for Trinidad. So we have a net positive benefit on Hyatt. Now the deal with Hyatt has never been, and we have a real problem in terms of our portfolio as a government, right? So the deal with Hyatt is different to the deal with Hilton, right? We have the deal with Hilton since 1962, since 1963, somewhere thereabout, and we never properly renegotiated that. Hilton has gone through several different owners. They have more or less the same position. Right, and we have to manage our tourism product from a national basis in terms of what we're getting out of it. Right now, we have one in Udicott, next one in E-Tech, and so on and so forth. And we have a mixture of good deals and bad deals. Right, so we have to fix that. That's the first point. So arrival of Sandals is not a golden answer to our problem. I want to make that clear from a business perspective. And I don't want people understand when I've made this point before. That's the first point. The second point that arises from that is tourism product. Right now, for tourism to make sense, you have to have offtake. What are the other spin-off products that you're going to have to go with it? Right? You drop Sandals in position, you have name brand recognition, and some people start coming to Trinidad on the basis of Sandals. Well, all right. Right? How many hotel beds you have? You need how many hotel beds are to be? 1,000 hotel beds. Right, so it's an incremental position, and you also need all the activities to go with it. And when you come there, you ain't getting service, and nobody want to talk to me, and they don't talk to me properly. The whole service culture has to go into position, and quite frankly, it does not exist in Tobago. Right, it doesn't exist in Trinidad either. Right, so talking about tourism and what tourism could do without building out the infrastructure to support tourism is old talk. Right? It's just, and I get that we'll talk all the time. There are things which have to be done, which you haven't even begun to conceptualize in terms of how we're going to handle them. A tourist comes to the country to spend his money. You have to have activities for them. Right? I thank you very much for you putting on a play every 3 months or every 4 months. Right? But I'm here for this week. They have one taking place this week. They have a calypso show I could go to. There's a place where they have steel band taking place this week that I could follow up. Is there a calypso show? We have that structure in position? No. Right? So if you want tourism, you have to have all of those things to go. The negotiations with Sanders is only one part of it. Right? So we really have to have a far more holistic position in terms of what we're going to do, right? And moving it forward, and whether we committed to it or not. We're not. If you go to the Caroni Bird Sanctuary, I said the broken down buildings, I said what you call it, garbage floating down. What is that? I mean, that's not waits we sell them here. Right? Same thing with regard to, where they want to go fishing, when they're going fishing in the Gulf. Well, you're not part of the problem with that now. Right? The Gulf is a very unfriendly place. Even if fishermen don't want to go there. Right? So you have a lot of things that you have to basically put in the mix to make tourism work. Right? And of course, fellas want to walk around town, right? And they have to have places to go. The place has to look different. Right? It can't be dirty the way it is all the time. Downtown is stink,
Hmm.
right? I mean, this is your capital city, right? We're talking about bringing in more cheaper imports, 6 and 10 years old. Well, we building a dump for foreign used cars. Right? Pass over the Lady Young Road now. Pass over the Lady Young Road. In the last year, they have about 4 abandoned derelicts on the roadside. Lady Young Road is the road that leads into Hilton Hotel.
Yes.
Give me a break. When you drive into what you go, you're driving to Maracas. We have a set of derelicts on the road going to Maracas too. Right? Not only going to Maracas, when you reach Maracas and you're going to Lafayette and you're passing out on the exterior. No. Right? That's not what tourism is about. Tourism is about this is green, clean, and serene. Right? No, you have to fix your environment. You have to have disposals. Things have to be managed. Grass has to be cut. Right? No, plants have to be there. It has to look pretty. No, we begin.
To talk about so because we didn't even touch on that issue of raising the age now that you could bring in cars, and you made the point that there's so many derelicts already, and you're bringing in more. I mean, Mariano, we'll have to have you back as the debate rages on.
Well, we didn't really touch on the budget there. I'm saying to you, what you call it. I mean, my final point is the revenue number is ambitious. So is the expenditure, right? I think the expenditure is understated. I think the revenue is overstated. That leaves you with a big budget deficit. I'll blow on that tree. I'll blow on that $4 billion and make it will look like that last year's number. That's where I stand.
Okay. But we will have you back, Mariano, as the debate starts and continues and issues come up. You know, I know in terms of the electricity rates for commercial and industrial customers, they left out, they accepted certain things. I think hospitals and
exempted
hospitals and schools.
Well, that's a story by itself. I mean, we're going to spend X amount to retrain. If you look at three proposals, one, we're going to retrain teachers. We spend $4.5 million retraining 15,000 teachers. Well, that was over $381 per person. What kind of training is that? We're going to refurbish 456 primary schools. That's about $22,000 a school. And what are you putting into these schools? But I'm giving 20,000 laptops. The laptop that each child will get is $8,000 plus dollars. That's an expensive laptop. So there are some relativities inside of some of those wonderful noises that have been made there that don't make sense. Right? They're great for an announcement effect. But when you compare them in terms of what they're buying, well, you have to ask some questions about what really are we doing. So the announcement effect was great. The presentation was lovely. The devil is in the details.
All right. And that's where we're going to leave it. We're going to go into detail as the debate rages on.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mariano, for bringing your expertise this morning.
All right.
Of course, we're way behind. I don't even know if we can do news at this point.
No, I don't think we can, given where we at. But we could basically just recap some of the things that he spoke about. Taking that whole realistic view as to where we are at and what does it really mean going forward. It's a lot of uncertainty.
One of the I shouldn't say one of the basic things, but it is that Trinidad and Tobago has to sell more. So we have to be more and more innovative in what we sell and getting it into the outside market. I know we have niche industries like, your chocolatiers, your pepper distributors and manufacturers. And I know different economists talk about those different issues where we have an advantage because our cocoa is among the best in the world. Of course, our pepper and how hot it can get is among the best in the world. Those are where you have natural advantages and how we can make money and get money in terms of our export market with stuff like that. That's just two niche markets. But how do we get innovative even in the issue of coding and apps and software, and how do we mobilize our education sector and our research and development to get to that section? Because the world is becoming more and more digitized. How can we take advantage of that? And I don't know how much mental power is put towards that, because that is a huge area where certain countries are taking advantage of it. India is one. The Israelis are another in terms of software and making money in that whole digital sector. How much are we trying to monetize in that sector? So I suppose it really has to be a rethink of how you recalibrate how Trinidad and Tobago sees itself in the world. What is brand Trinidad and Tobago? I always come back to that question. What is our brand?
Well, it ain't gonna be liming again, which is what you might have said some years ago. Because with alcohol and cigarettes going the way they're going, it ain't gonna be much liming again.
Yeah. I know many people are in favor of those what they call vice taxes. And I could see it with regard to cigarettes, but alcohol, is where people socialize, and that's a liming culture. So I have very mixed feelings about that. I mean, I'm no big drinker. I mean, I don't drink spirits. I drink a beer or two. But I understand the value of that kind of socialization, which connects to your tourism culture too. So you see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know that little to nothing was said about local government, so I wait to see what comes out in the debate itself in terms of local government reform and so on. You know how I feel about that, right?
Yeah.
So
nothing is going to take place according to your sentiment, Wendell.
I waited to see what is stop.
You're waiting to see, so at the end of it all, you can say, see, nothing take place.
And plenty people have a problem with me saying that, including plenty people in the PNM, have had a problem with me saying local government reform is a hoax. Well, guess what? They're seeing it now full as Ron DeSantis say, front and center. A hoax.
Yep.
Say what?
Anyway, this is where we wrap up the breakfast show for this morning. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We know that you have a choice in what you watch and listen to wherever you are on the planet, and we're glad that you chose us. Of course, New Era TT Radio continues on newerattradio.com and on TuneIn and New Era TT Radio. Excellent programming throughout the day, and of course, it's midweek, so have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, folks. Once again, thanks for all the people on the chat. You certainly kept the chat very, very busy today and very, very informative. Very, how I should put it, respectful chatting today. And thanks again for the birthday greetings. I guess I'm going back to bed.
You go smoked.
I'm in a house with two massive dogs here, so I'll go outside and keep them company in a bit. And
then get back to humping your pillows.
And back to humping my pillows. Get back to humping my pillows. Look at that. A red pillow too. A red pillow.
Oh
my God. Hey. Okay. So
bye-bye. Folks, have a wonderful day.
Have a fantastic day. This has been the Breakfast Show.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show energy everywhere.